There still seems to be a ton of pessimism in the name for Alibaba, and that's being reflected in the premiums that we can generate by selling cash secured puts. And that's what I'm going to look at in this video. So guys, as always, smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. You're watching More Money. Let's get it. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel where the goal here is to help at least 1,000 people achieve financial independence much sooner, and let's dive right into it. So you guys know that I love selling cash secured puts as a way to reduce my net purchase price for any security that I'm buying. Now this video is very specific for a specific type of investor. So in my situation, I already have purchased my core position in Alibaba. I purchased that a year ago, and then subsequent to that I doubled down by selling cash secured puts at a net purchase price of $70 per share. And in a previous video, I completely outlined that position. And now I'm getting greedier by looking for cash secured put opportunities that are as close as possible to the net cash per share position on the balance sheet for Alibaba. And that's what I'm trying to analyze here. Now look, cash secured puts aren't for everyone. This is not an endorsement for you to sell cash secured puts. All this is just straight education. And so let's get into it. So first and foremost, in order to look at this properly, you gotta look at the valuation. Now in the other parts to this Alibaba Q4 review, I did note that I will be revamping the model once the annual report is released. I don't expect the valuation to change materially, and it'll likely fall in that $250 to $300 per share range. So effectively what this is saying is that there's continued strong upside at around $90 per share for Alibaba. I believe that the company's worth somewhere around that $250 to $300 per share range. However, because I made my original position at around that $200 per share level, and then I doubled down at around that net $75 per share level, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'll get exercised, by the way, for that net $70 per share level. But either way, I'm either going to be able to completely collect a really good premium, or I'll be able to double down at $70 per share. So of course, you see how that brings down my cost basis considerably. Either way, I win. And so with this next round, I guess we want to call this a triple down. With this next round, I'm getting even greedier with respect to how I want to sort of triple down on this name. And so I'm looking for a net purchase price of less than $50 per share that gives me a good annualized yield. And so we'll see if we can find that. So looking at the January 2023 puts, remember guys that Alibaba holds almost $30 per share in cash and short-term investments. And I'll explain why that becomes important in a second. So starting at the $60 per share cash secured puts, you can see that they're yielding approximately $4 per share right now. So that's an effective 10% annualized yield with a net purchase price of $56 per share. So that's really compelling. However, I'd like that annualized yield to be a little bit higher. I would love to pick that up at a 15% annualized yield. So that's not for me right now. Now, moving down at the $80 per share level, you're getting a 19% annualized yield with a net purchase price of $70 per share. So it's a good yield. However, that net purchase price of $70 per share, that's the net purchase price that I previously sold cash secured puts at. So I'm not interested in doing that again. Finally, the $100 cash secured puts, they're giving you a 30% annualized yield with a net purchase price of $80 per share. So once again, the annualized yield is really good there. However, that net purchase price, not something that I'm interested in. Now, looking here, you can see that the Patreons at the $5 a month level, not only do they get the companies that they're following, but they also get this cash secured put analysis tool. And really, it's doing is just the math for you. So you can enter in the strike date, the put amount, and the premium amount. And so you can see I did that here for that last cash secured put that we're looking at. So the net purchase price, it's telling you it's $80, which makes sense. It's just the 100 minus the 20. And the annualized put yield is 30.8%. So always look at the annualized put yields. Do not get tricked by just looking at the put yield. It'll make you favor longer term options more than the shorter term options. And the one thing that you really got to understand as the relationship goes with cash secured puts is that longer term options generally have higher premium dollar amounts, but they have lower annualized premium amounts. So it's a bit of an inverse relationship, but it makes sense. Now, you can get access to all of our models and that cash secured put analysis tool from the Patreon at the $5 per month level. And like I always say, If you try it out and it's not for you, just message me in the app and I'll completely refund your first month subscription. So there's zero risk to you. Now, let's move on to the 2024 cash secured puts. So you can see here the January 19, 2024s. Overall, I'm saying that the 2024s are not as exciting as they were last month when Alibaba's share price was considerably lower, but volatility is a thing. And if you continue watching these premiums, they can tick upwards. So the $60 cash secured put is an 8% annualized yield with a net purchase price of $52 per share. I would love for that to go to 15% and a net purchase price under $50 per share. I'll back the truck up on that. Now, looking at the $80 cash secured put, it's an 11.5% annualized yield with a net purchase price of $65 per share. So it's okay, but I'd like that yield to be higher. And of course, personally, I would like that net purchase price to be lower. And then, of course, looking at the $100 cash secured put, it's a 15% annualized yield with a net purchase price of $75 per share. Now, this is the one actually that I sold at a premium of $30 per share for a net purchase price of $70 per share. So that's the one that I'm in right now. I'll continue to hold that one. Happy to get exercised on that if the share price does not go above $100 per share. Of course, my net purchase price is $70 per share. So totally comfortable with that. And so that's why you can see why I'm getting even greedier by trying to get a net purchase price of under $50 per share. So in other words, I'm on the hunt. Nothing is looking really exciting right now, but like I said again, volatility is a thing, and I'm going to continue watching this. Now, in the next video that I put out, you guys will see a new and revamped Alibaba model. So in order to not miss out on the final part of this Q4 analysis, please take a second right now and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you are notified when that video comes out. Now, the other thing that I want to point out when I mentioned the Patreon earlier is that the Patreons do get access to this tracker. And so from this tracker, you can see that there's 6 names of strong companies in the tracker that are currently trading for less than 50% of their intrinsic value. The tracker also auto updates with the market movements to show in near real-time opportunities that open up, such as Alphabet trading near 50% of its intrinsic value. So something to look out for. And I'm going to be hoping for Alphabet to come under $2,000 per share because that's when I'm going to buy a position in that name. Now, additionally, it's showing 20 names of strong companies in the tracker that are nearing 50% of their intrinsic value. This is the highest amount of companies that have been in that beige color since I've made this tracker available to you guys. And also, every single tracker contains a link that takes you into a full detailed model for that security. So for example, look at Facebook. I've put a box around the ticker, and if you click on that ticker, it takes you to a full model for Facebook. And best of all, you can download every single one of these models and change every single input to suit your personal expectations. And more models are being added each week, as well as updates to the current names. So once again, you can get access to all of that at the $5 a month Patreon level. And like I always say, there's no risk to you because if you find that it's no value to you, no problem, full refunds. Now, if you missed the previous part of this Alibaba Q4 analysis, no problem. I've linked that video right here.